First of all, you guys, thank you so much, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And for those that attended the Icon event, oh my gosh, it was awesome, you guys. And the party we had on that Tuesday night, I think we had well over 100, Kelly, that came. So thank you guys, everybody who showed up, who even spent the money to come down there. I hope the value you received is going to be very compelling here over the next 12 months. Hopefully you got some good networking relationships going, all that kind of thing. How you doing, Mike? Doing good, brother?
Doing well. Doing well.
Awesome. Well, let's kick this thing off. We've got Mr. JJ. I'm so excited here to interview this gentleman. Let me give you a little bit of his background real quick. JJ Garina. He has been in the real estate industry for nearly 21 years. He runs a team under the eXp Realty umbrella with his business partner, Bobby Cortez. They are on pace to close 21 million. Thumbs up, brother. That's awesome. Here in 25 between the two of them and one virtual assistant. JJ has over 100 agents in his organization in 3.5 years. Congrats, dude, while cranking out incredible production. Together, Bobby and JJ have won countless awards: top listing team, top units sold, platinum producing team, all with the KW Realty City View office for multiple years. He was KW 2016 recipient of the Legacy Award, which recognizes an individual who has impacted lives in the local community by embodying the culture of KW, by succeeding through others and leaving behind a legacy of sharing and caring. San Antonio's Hispanic Chamber of Commerce recipient of the Rising Star Award 2016, which recognizes a budding entrepreneur that has exceeded expectation in business and reach. His San Antonio Business Journal has recognized them as one of the top 25 teams in San Antonio for multiple years in a row. Lastly, JJ has been picked up by a national TV show that is featured in San Antonio on KSAT 12 and now their ABC affiliate in San Antonio. The show is called The American Dream, where Bobby and JJ represent San Antonio as top real estate professionals who bring our city to a national platform. We're going to call this the seven things agents need.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, man, that introduction, that's like a mic drop right there.
No, dude, I'm gonna take you on tour with me. That's way too long, for sure.
Dude, that was awesome. But hey, man, go ahead and go any further. Anything else you'd like us to know before we kind of dig in and really find out what you've done to build this RevShare group?
So first thing is, I was with Keller Williams for 17 and a half years, and I love that company. I love everyone there as well. I ended up being, having a little bit of ownership in multiple market centers. And so when it comes to, I hate the word recruiting, but because I feel like recruiting is different than attracting. And I want to get into that a little bit. But
Yeah.
when it comes to recruiting, I've learned from different coaches with KW, different OPs, different regional OPs. I've, done interim team leader stuff as well. So I want to talk about top down, bottom up, and what agents are really looking for and needing, and how to do it in a pragmatic way. We just made Inman News. I just merged and acquired a brokerage 3 months ago. So we got 82 agents from, in one big swoop, which really did push my agent count up. But, and I worked on that one for almost a year. So it's
And
about the,
I'd love to get some detail on that and how
yeah,
that
sure.
works. Yeah, because we got a Kelly right here. We got a two or three people on the team that are in the process of trying to bring over around 100 plus.
Awesome.
Definitely dig
Before you,
deeper into that.
there are a few
Um,
things you should know. We are an NMLS approved.
Why don't we do this, JJ, before we dig into that, because I definitely
Yeah.
want to know more. I have no idea, man. How were you first approached about EXP, and what was the main reason you guys decided to join?
This is a great story. So when I was opening up one of the franchises for KW, I'm gonna try to make this short. I had a coach. I've always had a coach, by the way. I've been in 21 and plus years now in real estate, and I've had a coach all but a couple of months of my career. And
Wow.
so, with the coaching, it's top down, bottom up. Top down meaning I need to go get, the Seans, the Kellys, the Mikes of the world, because they're head turners. You guys are head turners. So where you go, everyone goes, hey, where did they go? And so to open up a franchise for KW, you needed 40, for the most part, you would need 40 FLQAs just to open. Just think about that. You couldn't even get a lease unless you had 40. Well, actually, it was actually 18 cappers and blah, 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 but it ends up being 40 producing agents.
Okay.
So I had no help. They didn't even like paint a wall red for me, nothing. So, I was going down this. And by the way, the city had never seen a KW before. So they were still in the 60-40 splits from the 80s. Most of the agents were brokers. It was really, really weird. Anyways, So I'm paying this coach and I'm going every single week, 3 times a week. It's pretty far from my location and I'm just failing. Everyone's just ignoring me, like leaving me on red on Facebook, like leaving me on red on text, hanging up on me, which was frustrating because I'm very coachable. So I go to my coach and I go, look, man, I'm paying you a bunch of money. Maybe you got the wrong guy. Maybe you got the wrong dude. And he goes, no, you're perfect for it. Let's just stop meeting every week. He goes, call me again when they make fun of you. And I said, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but okay, right? So I go another 13 months. That's 17 months in, just being ignored. And one day I'm sitting with a brand new agent because those are the only agents that would meet with me. And I see this guy beeline. We're at a Starbucks. He beelines to our table and he goes, don't you work for Sherman Williams? And I was like, the paint store? And he goes, no, that pyramid scheme company. I go, oh, Keller Williams. He goes, yeah. And he goes, yeah. And he slides his card to the possible recruit. And he goes, just give me a call tomorrow. These guys are a bunch of crooks. So I call my coach. I go, hey, they made fun of us. And he goes, great. And I'll call the Business Journal top agents, and I promise you, you're going to make traction. I was like, whatever. And I swear to God, Sean, in 5 weeks from that day, I had 39 LOIs to come over. Okay.
Wow.
Now, this changed my life, and I hope it changes yours. The story is really important and when it comes to the fork in my road. And so now I have momentum. I'm having a lot of fun. I get to 39 agents very quickly, and then he goes, okay, time to go look for. He's like, hey, time to pass the baton. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, pass it on to the next guy. And here goes my ego because I'm like, he did all the cool stuff. He found the space. He built it out. He hired the team leader. He hired the assistant. He put CEO on his card. Did all the fun stuff. So the next family reunion, the KW, thing, I see him and I go, hey man, I have a little trouble with what happened. And he had this conversation with me. He said, look, you did the hard part because success leaves clues. And I want everyone to understand this. He goes, at first they ignored you, and then they made fun of you. And then right after that, we noticed that they copied you. Because that by the time I took 39 agents, all of a sudden people were having 70-30 splits, $21,000 caps where they had never had that before. And I started to realize, and he said, in any industry, whether it be lending, anything, lending, fashion, music, AI, there's a pattern. They ignore you, then they make fun of you, and then they copy you. So here we go. I'm an owner. It's 2017. We're sitting in a business planning clinic in Houston for the whole region, and KW, they spend 52 minutes making fun of this company called EXPI.
Hmm.
And I go, hey, what the heck? We've never made fun of anyone before, right? I was ready to leave then, to be honest with you, but my business partner, he's a loyalist. And but I looked into the company. I was like, it makes sense. I was always worried about the culture, and I want to talk about that in a little bit because how you can have culture if you're cloud based. But I think we've solved that now. And anyways, fast forward to 2021, and the infallible Gary Keller, Pope Gary Keller the first comes down and he goes, "Hey guys, we're gonna go public." I go, "Nah, nah, nah. Now you're copying." Right? So
Hmm.
they showed me the pattern. They ignored EXP, they made fun of EXP, and then they copied. They're trying to copy EXP. So at that point, I told my business partner, "Hey, I'm leaving. You can stay." We almost broke up. I was like, "I'm not gonna polish the brass on the Titanic. Like I gotta go." And so I slowly and well, not slowly, quickly, but very silently sold all my shares. Prepared for a lawsuit that obviously happened, but I'm okay. It's just a non-compete that we got around, and I joined EXP. So that's the reason why I left was because I saw the writing on the wall that they showed me that was happening. Because that is how success is measured. It's by being ignored and then made fun of and then being copied.
That's very, very interesting. So did you, after that all took place and you brought over that 30 something agents, did that group that you brought over, did they start to engage with RevShare or what was their main reason for coming over?
Well, I came with 5 or 7 agents, and oddly enough, a guy named Alan Grillick had asked me. He was the only guy. I want everyone to understand. I was so unrecruitable at KW because I was an OP, I was a MAPS coach, I was like Kool-Aid. I was like the Kool-Aid man. I was like just red, right? So just think about the people that you think are unrecruitable. The only guy that actually the had the gall to ask me to be part of the company years before. I always say, hey man, if I ever look into it, I'll call you, which I did. So just think about that. Um, but in the beginning, it was really Just me, and I have the skills that I acquired over these franchises that I opened up. And so what I would tell everyone is just in the beginning in my rev share group, I would say pass the ball. Like don't try to recruit them on your own. Set up a coffee with me. You don't have, let me go do it. And then I want to share the kind of presentation that I do because it's on a cocktail napkin. It's very simple. And also what I do is I make sure that I give 80% of my attention to my top 20%. You know the Pareto rule. I had a guy come in from Del Rio. He used to sell new home. I'm sorry. He used to sell cars, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be a rock star in your organization." I was like, "Great." He goes, "How do I get time with you?" And I go, "I'm going to be honest with you. You got a cat, icon, or recruit." I was like, I love you, and I want the best, but come to my trainings. But if you want one-on-one time with me, you got to be part of my top 20%. And that top 20% is always evolving, right? But with my top 20% that are in production, I ask them 5 questions, and I'll tell you how that is. And we can real play if you want, Sean. And then but that's how I recruit agents under them, and I make sure that that happens every single month.
Yeah, I love that. Well, let's start right there. What
All
are
right,
the five
let
questions, or do you want to role play them?
let's real play. How about that? Let's be real. So, Sean, what's your biggest obstacle right now? Notice that I didn't say problem. Those are like baby mama, baby daddy things. What is your biggest obstacle right now in real estate?
Well, let me ask real quick before we jump into that, because
Sure.
obviously I'm no longer in production.
All right. Anyone in production here, I would love to real play with them then.
Anybody in production? Mark, I know Mark is. Mark, would you be willing, brother, to do a little quick role play? Okay.
I'll
Thank you,
give it a
Mark.
shot.
Hey, Mark, how are you, brother?
Doing great, doing great.
So, Mark, give me your biggest struggle right now in real estate.
Uh, Finding new clients to work with.
Gotcha. Question number two. What have you tried so far?
I've tried a little bit of everything, just getting focused on one. I feel a little overwhelmed with all the different options out there, and there's not enough time in the day, and just getting focused enough. That's my biggest challenge.
Gotcha. So, when have you been focused before and it was working?
I guess when I have just, made a decision to maybe like I have the most success when I just make calls on a daily basis and reach out directly to buyers and sellers. That's
Okay. Where was that lead source from that you're when you were in like that groove in that game, that wave, who were you calling and where were you sourcing those calls from?
from an online, lead provider that just gave me a list of leads every week that had maybe reached out on a Facebook post or something, and I just followed up with every one of them. And I just put the work in, put the work in.
All right, Mark, what I would suggest is playing games with the brain. So I have 20 great conversations about real estate every single day, and there's argument that I knock down as I go. I can't give my body coffee until I have 5 great conversations. So those first 5 are quick because I'm playing game, I'm giving restrictions to my own brain. Does that make sense? And then once I have my first cup of coffee, because I need the second, I got to go another 10. So I go 5, then coffee, then 10, then coffee. And by the time I get the last 5, I'm already rejuvenated and I'm good. So I want you to play with a game with your brain to make sure that you're constantly, because if not, you're just like, hey, I'm just gonna watch, ESPN and we'll see what happens, right? So like, I want you to do that first thing in the morning. First, I start my calls at 6:45 a.m. I do commercial and my clients are up and they're talking. You do it whenever, but before you do anything else, don't check your email, don't look at a checklist, don't look at that contract. I want you to play like that little game, some kind of game with your brain. And I promise you, you'll start to create a habit. Just give it about 2.5 months, and then you'll be good to go. Okay. My next question is, Mark, in the last month or two, what transaction did you do with an agent that you're like, wow, this agent's really cool, or he or she is a rock star?
I just closed one last week with an agent. At first, it started off a little choppy, a little rocky, but as we worked through it, built a better rapport. We just closed it, and we had actually this morning, a great follow up that everything went great with the Passover and
Love it.
of keys and everything. Just a great overall transaction at the end of the day.
Awesome. So I'm going to pretend that's 123 Main Street, and I'm going to pretend that other agent was Kelly Fasterling. Okay. And then you just told me some little details about it. that it was a hiccup, but she was really professional about it. And I was like, hey, Mark, do you mind if I follow up with her? Is that okay?
That'd be great. Sure, for sure.
Now, when can you commit to this little brain games that we're talking about? When you can commit to this focus?
Right after we get off this call here, I can start making phone calls.
Can you do me a favor and screenshot that list and let me know that you're back in action? And then I'm going to check up on you next week as well. The
Absolutely.
last question, is there anything I can do for you, brother, besides what we've been talking about?
Well, I know your time is valuable. I appreciate you getting on this call with me. If I ever want to, reach out to you, if I got a question or a problem throughout the week, do you mind if I give you a
Not at
direct
all.
call?
I'm going to send you my Calendly and we'll have a little follow-up. How about that?
Sounds great.
All right, guys, that took not 4 minutes. Like I actually timed it. That took 4 minutes. Okay. So now this is my follow-up. Kelly, we're gonna role play now. Kelly, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Kelly, how are you? Or ring, you say hello. Sorry.
Hello.
Hey, Kelly, how are you? This is JJ with EXP Commercial. How are you?
I'm excellent, JJ. How are you?
Hey, I don't know if your ears were ringing. I just got the phone with Mark Mess. He says that you guys had a credible transaction at 123 Main Street. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
first want to say congratulations on the sale.
Thank you. Yeah, he was great to work with.
Yeah, he said the same about you. And let me let you know, I've been in the game for 21 plus years. I haven't really met you. I've kind of, it's probably my fault, but I love to connect with all of the top producers in the area. I'm also a coach with Success Magazine, and I'd love to meet with you just so that we can kind of like mastermind a little bit. Do you have some time for some coffee? I'd love to buy you a cup or whatever it is in the next week or two.
Yeah, I'd be open to that, JJ.
Awesome. That's 1,000. I almost bet 1,000 on that follow-up call. So realize what I've done. Mark actually feels validated. Got in touch with him because he's my top 20%, and that's where we should focus all of our attention, right? Because if Mark leaves, that's trouble. Now, but here's another thing that I want you to understand. First question was, what objections do you have? The second question is, what have you tried so far? You can stay there for a little bit because you have to get them unstuck. I had to get Mark unstuck in his brain. I had to remind him when he was a rock star, which I did. Then I asked him a little bit of like, when can we get back to where uh, uh, when can we get back to when you were a rock star for the most part? Then I kind of gave him my own, I gave him advice from my own production and what I've done over the course of 21 years. He doesn't have to take that. He could just ignore me. But the most crucial one was like I said, when can you implement that? Now, if Mark would say like, well, it's Halloween and I got the kids, and then next week I got my mother-in-law, and then the week after that's Thanksgiving. Well, then I know there's a red flag. I know Mark's checked out. And then I would powwow with the leaders in my organization and say, "Hey, Mark, man, he's because you need to understand people don't leave organizations overnight. They take about 2 to 3 months of suffering, and they realize that they don't. We're not giving them one of the 7 things that we're about to talk about, and that's when they make a decision to leave. But we can get ahead of it if we having these conversations every single month." Then I asked them what was the best transaction he had with a non-EXP agent. I'm going to now call Kelly. I'm going to invite her to all the trainings. I'm going to have her, you know, like show up to these type of, Zooms. And guess what's going to happen to Kelly? She's going to fall in love with our organization because we give our agents everything. And then guess who I'm going to put her under? Mark Mess. Do y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a method to the madness. And let's say I call all my top 20%, and they all, like, I'll give you, for instance, 80% of them at one point said, I can't sell my listings. So me and the other trainers, we responded immediately and said, hey guys, we're going to have a training on price drops. So now everyone feels validated because Mark said, hey, and Mark, Kimberly, Chuck, Jim, Sandra all said, hey, I'm having trouble getting price drops. So we respond immediately with a training that helps them in real time. Because as you know, the problems change every single quarter when it comes to real estate. So now we're validating our top 20%. We're getting leads, if you want to call them that, of other to go and find some people that are not with EXP but are good agents. Did you notice I didn't say what was the last agent you worked with? Because what if the last agent was a a-hole or someone that we didn't like? I didn't ask them that. I said, when's the last time you had a rock star transaction with someone?
Mm-hmm.
And what made them a rock star, right? So that's how you create a culture of growth, if that makes sense. and it's just 5 questions. So and I'll tell Mark, hey, I'm gonna put Kelly under you, but you're gonna have to ask her those 5 questions. Like, can you handle that? It should take you about 5 to 15 minutes a month. And if he goes, oh yeah, I can. I was like, cool. Well, then I'm gonna have her under you because that's the responsibility that we should have with an organization is paying attention to our top 20%.
That's good, man. Well, we got three other questions, right, that you've kind of planted some seeds. So let's dig a little deeper. So the
Sure.
7 things agents need.
Sure. So let's say, okay, let's fast forward. Kelly and I are having coffee. I may or may not go at her, but if she starts to ask questions or whenever someone's wanted to know more about it, of course I sent them the model explained before that meeting. Because if they don't know the model at all, then you're just there teaching them the model and no one's better than Brent Gove. I usually send his awesome YouTube about it, right? But let's say they've seen the model explained, they're sitting with me having coffee at a Starbucks or a restaurant. I usually have like salt, pepper shakers, all this stuff, and there's 7 things. I put them in front of them. I go, okay, look, I'm 21 years in the game. You might be 3 months in the game, 3 years in the game, doesn't matter. There's 7 things that we need as real estate agents at any given time. Number one is training, mentoring, and coaching. Okay. The second is culture. The third thing is opportunity. The fourth thing are leads. The fifth thing is, I used to say technology, but now I say technology and AI.
Mhm.
The sixth thing is reasonable fees and splits. And the last thing is support. Now, support is different than training, coaching, and mentoring. Support is, did I cross my T's and dot my I's? Am I not going to get sued? Right. And so I tell them when I started, whatever they're in, like if it's a brand new agent, I go, when I started in real estate, all I cared about was support and leads. And now in my 21st year of real estate, all I care about is opportunity and culture. So if you had to name your top two, what would it be? And I make them name their top two. And whatever it is, we got it. If it's training, mentoring, and coaching, we have what, Sean, like 1,000+ hours of training in the world. You probably have local trainings that you have right now. We have the mentorship program. We have mentorship program with land and farm and ranch. We have mentorship program in commercial if they want to go into that. We have a lot of, now we own Success Magazine. We have Success Coaching. So there you go. Okay, number two, culture. That's the tough one because that's the culture that you guys have right now in your organization. We have our own as well, but you just talk about, look, we have interview these great people on Mondays. We make sure that we're always expanding whatever that is. Your culture in your organization. The third thing is opportunity. I'll tell people the first 17 years of my career, I stayed in one lane, is the lane of anxiety. Let me explain it. I wake up January, I go like, holy smokes, I need a pipeline. So I have anxiety. So I get on the phones and then I get a bunch of, prospects, right? I get a lead funnel. And then I have anxiety because now I have to go write those people up and put them under contract. But then I have anxiety because they're under contract and now I got to close them, right? And then guess what happens when that happens? I need a pipeline and the anxiety goes again. With EXP, I have 3 lanes. I have the lane of anxiety, which is always going to be there, and we have stocks and we have revenue share. So I'm able to, like, when I don't have the best month like I didn't in 2024, we all had a pretty tough time. I had a dismal quarter. Well, we had revenue share and stocks. I wasn't panicked. Does that make sense? So we have opportunities that other brokerages don't. Leads, I would go into Phil Stringer, I go into Bold Trail, I go into Lofty, and all the things that we have to get agents leads if they put the work in, obviously. And we're also going to train them how to go fish on their own, right? So that's the lead portion. Technology and AI, mean, we're the forefront of any company when it comes to that. We're going to have the most, we're AI driven. Glenn's already said he's going all in on AI. Him and Leo are just, that's all they're doing. We can talk about Mira. We can talk about all the stuff that just got released this past EXPCon, but we are the AI/technology company. Fees and splits, I say we're not the cheapest and we're not the most expensive, but we're the most bang for your buck. I talk about how with our $85 or $89 a month fee, we get, again, a CRM, whether it be Lofty or Bold Trail. We have, Canva Pro. We have access to the world. I mean, for that amount of money, you cannot have that much, technology at your fingertips. And then support. Here in Texas, we have 17 brokers working 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I tell people when I was the number one agent at KW, and I could be on fire. If I called my broker, he'd get back to me in 24 to 48 hours. I was like, I can get someone in front of me in the next 7, and if you don't believe me, I'll do it. And I'll just do it right in front of them while we're talking. I'll go into the world. I go to broker room. I'll whatever, and then we'll actually get on like an actual we're having a conversation with a broker really quick. But yeah, those are the 7 things. And once you figure out what those 7 things are, you're like a dentist. We're hitting each tooth and figuring out where it hurts, right? We're like, oh, so it's culture. Oh, it's technology. Oh, and that's what you are. You're more of a, I guess, a dental hygienist because you're figuring out where it hurts for them. Because everyone, no matter what, for the most part, is hurting in 1 or 2 categories. We're the closest to having all 7 things that are readily available for anybody. But for the most part, we have all 7. And what we need to do is just figure out where it hurts for them and then just say, hey, this is our solutions for you. And then, and what I would also just suggest too is Ford, family occupation, well, not occupation, FRD, family, recreation, and dreams. If you know that about the person that you're talking to, I talk to so many agents, they're like, man, I can't recruit so-and-so, and he doesn't get the numbers, and he's just wasting all his money at that brokerage. I go, hey, so is he married? I don't know. Does he have any kids? I don't know. What do you do for fun? I don't know. What are his dreams or her dreams? I'm not really sure. If you can't connect with them at that level, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, we need to connect with that. We need to connect with our forever past clients at that level for them to like actually trust us to do a transaction. Could you imagine uploading you're just leaving a company, changing signs and business cards and marketing, and you don't even know these people's background? It's going to be tough. So the bigger and by the way, the bigger the team that you're bringing over, the more you need to know about the 7 things that agents need and about their family, recreation, and dreams. Because if not, it can't be transactional. That's why so many times I see people come over from like a Real or LPT or KW and go right back because they don't feel that love. I mean, we should be like a family, and we should have an identity of a family when it comes to organizations.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Let's dig a little deeper. So once you've identified those 2 or 3 and you've elaborated that conversation, so what you were talking about, a presentation you have that's nice and tight, whatever. So what is the presentation you pull out, and does that vary according to their responses?
No, man, Sean, that's it. I'm a cocktail napkin type of guy. I don't want it to make it sound like so I just check the 7. Like I said, usually I have like 7 things in front of me, like their tea, their iced tea, my iced tea, the sugar caddy, the salt and pepper shaker, some napkins, and we just go, I push and like especially with people with KW. KW has a really good culture, right? They're known for culture. So I'll even push that on their way. I go, look, you guys have great culture. I get it. And then I start pulling the other ones on my side, and you're kind of doing you're doing like a checklist of like who's winning on what, right? Like AI, we're killing everyone, so I'll just pull that my way. Technology or leads, we have culture, whatever it is, opportunity, we got support, we got, and then eventually all the stuff is on my side of the table, and then the follow up, if that's what you're asking about, is depending on what their pain points are, I set up I say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you an explorer pass to the world, or so you can go to a training, or I'm gonna get you whatever they need to see how we do it. Because telling them that we do it and then showing them that we do it are 2 different things, and I think we skip that again. And then after that, it's just really like, I hate to use the word closing, but it's closing. You close them on when they're ready to move, and there's never a good time. Find out if they have a cap, when their cap is, because 3 months from that cap, before that cap is, you got a short window to convince them. If not, you're gonna wait another year. And these should all be in a CRM or something so that you understand when your follow up is, because it's usually not a decision that's knee jerk and last minute. they've either, the only time that you'll do that is when they've already considered EXP with some other agent, and then they stop following up, and then you are the one that are re-exposing them to the model, and then they're like just picking an upline at that point. And also, you have to explain how uplines really matter because they really do.
Do you have right now, so the system you just went through, these 7 questions, I'm
Yeah.
assuming with your team, do you give them this same kind of training? Do you have some kind of a PowerPoint or something that you could share with us that goes into more detail about those 7 questions?
I don't, because it changes so much. Like if I would have a PowerPoint, I would pretty much strike it all from technology and then and then put in all AI. Because at EXPCon, if you notice, everyone what the thing that was constantly being said on stage was we're always in beta, right? We're always trying new stuff out. So every single time that but I mean, you could use Gamma AI and knock it out real quick. But to me, I don't like the PowerPoint type thing because I don't like to be sold to, and I think a lot of agents are sold to a lot. So I like just casual conversations, and I say, look, I know there's 7 things that agents need, and then we start talking about it like that. They're going to remember that more than they would a PowerPoint, in my opinion. So I'm very relational, and then following up to see like, hey, you talked about leads. How's it going? How can I help? You want to come and check out how we go do calls? Can I and don't be afraid to coach them. Like those 5 questions that I just had with Mark, have it with them. Say, hey, so this is what you will expect from me if you're my top 20%, is me holding you accountable, because when you win, we win. And so that's really what we do as far as follow up, for sure.
I got you. And I know, Kelly, you just took some good notes. We've got the recording so we can all go back and grab those 7 type questions. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
For sure.
Maybe a couple just off the wall kind of questions that come to me.
Yeah.
What do you say to agents right now in your group that are playing small or they're still on the fence when it comes to attraction?
Um, what I, well, I will help them, like we talked about. If they're doing transactions with people, then I'm like when we did with Kelly in that example, I'm pushing them by saying, like, you know what, just give me the names and I'll go do it, right? So there's that. But when it's talk about like thinking small, well, here I'm gonna go into coaching now. So there's levels of the mind. What we focus on is results. So you want to go down to the bottom of your page right now, on the bottom is results, okay? This is what we focus our attention on. JJ has 180 whatever, but I can't be like him because he's blah blah blah. We focus on results. I remember one of my coaches was Diane Kokoska that ran maps, and one day she goes, JJ, do you whiten your teeth? I go, no. She goes, so you yellow your teeth? I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess I do, right? And it's really how it is, right? Because you're either yelling your teeth or you're whitening your teeth. And that's really how life is. Either I'm gaining weight or I'm losing weight. I'm either saving money or I'm spending money. And that's really what we focus. Our brain focuses on the results, okay? And so what's the level above results? Well, the level above results is action, like we just talked about with Mark. What is the action that Mark needs to take to get the results that he used to get, right? And that action was banging out calls with Mark. It could be networking. It could be whatever. So action. But we still know the actions and still don't do them. Therefore, we don't get the results. So the next level is potential. And I think what you're going at right now is, has someone unlocked your potential? So has someone taught you the 7 things that agents need and how to explain that? Because once I explain that or I teach that to one of my agents, now I've unlocked their potential as their mentor, coach, or trainer, and now they understand how to have those conversations. But guess what? Even though they know how to do it, doesn't mean they're going to take the action, and still doesn't mean that they don't get the results. So we go into the next level, which I think is what you're asking about. And that's beliefs. Do you believe that you can? Do you believe that you can grow an organization? Do you believe that growing an organization won't take you out of production? Do you believe that these unrecruitable, Kool-Aid drinking like me, red guys or whoever they are they recruitable if you have the right conversation at the right time? So there's beliefs, right? And so with beliefs, they're limited. And this is how I would explain it to anyone, and I'll explain it to you like this. The subconscious mind is the most powerful thing ever. And consciously, we want to go grow an organization, but subconsciously, our subby, we're going to call it the subconscious. Our subby goes, nah, I'm good. And you know what? I can prove it to you. I love this time of year when I start asking agents, What are your goals for 2026? Sean, they'll smile, they'll go, 80 transactions. I'm like, why are you smiling? Why they're smiling is because their subconscious goes, no, we're not. No, we're not. The subconscious is there for comfort. It's where you put, think about where you put your thermostat. It goes and it stops, doesn't it? It doesn't keep on going. It doesn't go to freezing or it doesn't go to 100 degrees. So your subconscious is there to, it's built for your comfort. The shirts that you wear, the sheets that you sleep in, the car that you drive, the air conditioning that you put, that's all for comfort. So think of yourself as a castle and you have a moat around you, and that's your subconscious. And your subconscious is there to protect your comfort. So when you say, I'm going to do something uncomfortable, your subconscious mind goes, no, sir, or no, ma'am, we are not. Right. So it's convincing the subconscious mind that they want to get uncomfortable, and getting uncomfortable is worth it. How do we do that? Well, you have to, I don't know, where are you guys right now? I'm in Texas. Where are you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm in Colorado, but I was in Dallas for 30 years.
Okay,
coaching.
Colorado. You guys get in a bunch of inner tubes and float down the river like us because we're crazy. Do y'all do that? Okay.
Yep.
Well, when you're floating down the river, you have that middle tube. Guess what's, it's not a person in that tube. Guess what's in that tube?
Here.
All the beer. Right?
Right.
And when you go down, like when the rapids get rocky or whatever, where it gets kind of, we will all collectively make sure that that beer thing doesn't flip over. Because if it does, we're gonna have a terrible time for the rest of that river trip, right? Kids can go that way, car keys can go that way, cell phone goes whatever, but we will definitely make sure that inner tube with beer is standing up, right? That, and then we get all together, we collect our children and our keys and our cell phones, and then we get back together, and then we all, if you look at us at an aerial view, we're all around that beer tube, right? There's just a bunch of us. Well, that is exactly what your subconscious is. Your main limited belief is that beer tube, and then all of these other like small limited beliefs are all attached to that beer. So your limited belief will be like, well, no agent wants me to call on them. That's a limited belief. And then you have other little ones. Well, they already know about EXP. They used to be with EXP, so they're never coming back. They're really happy with. See, there's this main limited belief and all these other ones. And so what you have to do, or what I do as a coach, I just untether them, because I'll say like, well, who told you that? Who told you that they're happy at real? No one. Okay. So you have to untether these limited beliefs in your mind. The orange cones are in your head in order to believe. Because if you believe and someone has, so if you believe, think about the levels. If you believe that you can grow an organization and you have the skills, so someone unlock your potential, then you can do the action and get the result. Okay. And there's a level above that, which is value. And this is where it gets really crazy, because you can actually believe. You can actually believe that you can grow an organization. You can believe that. Your subconscious can actually believe that with you. Okay. But it's what you value. Like, what do you care about? And here's where it gets a little stringy, because I see people try to recruit for the wrong reasons. I recruit because I feel bad for them if they're not with us. And I do. I feel bad. I feel bad. I want them to have the opportunity. I want them to grow. I want them to have the 2 extra lanes that are outside of the lane of anxiety. I want them to have the technology and the AI that we're getting every single day. I want them to be a part of my culture because it's so like growth minded. And when I see agents that are not in that, in our, under my organization, I feel bad. I feel bad for them. And when you can come from if that's what you care about, if you care about that agent doing better and having a better life and having more options and growing stock and having revenue share that's going to like save them in this industry that's going to eat a lot of people up, then your motives will change. And when your motives change, then your beliefs change. And when your beliefs change, then your potential gets unlocked. And when your potential gets unlocked, you actually do the actions. And when you actually do the actions, well, guess what? You get the results.
A lot of mindset. Before we jump into Kelly, she has a question in chat. May I ask, do you ever cold call agents?
Cold call? No, I don't. Maybe
May
I
I ask,
should.
maybe because obviously you've got a lot of that coaching mentality up in your head, which is so much just mindset and belief. Would you mind just for me, and there's a few people that I know have to do that. If you were making a cold call, because I love your 7 questions, how might you start off that call?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
Yeah.
So I have cold call before for commercial real estate. It's the same thing, because I get referrals from real estate agents that are residential. So
Okay.
it would be like this. It would be like, hey Mark, how you doing? So what I do is I go to broker metrics and I find out how their business is doing. Usually I find people that are on the hockey puck or hockey stick, they're going on the way up. And I'll find out some numbers about them and I'll say, hey Mark, how's it going? This is JJ with EXP commercial. But I could say, hey, this is JJ with EXP. Hey, I just want to let you know, man, I was looking at I was sitting with my title person and we're looking at some of the rock stars that are out there. And I don't know if you know this, but you actually you're up 18.5% from last year. Congratulations. And you start with an ego stroke because we're real estate agents and we all have egos. So we go with the ego stroke. Hey, but you have to have a real stat. Say, did you know that, by the way? Did you know that you're up 18% from last year? Congratulations, man. I would love to mastermind with you. I've been doing this business for blank years. I like to hang out with the top people. I myself always trying to get better. If we can have some coffee, I would love to pick your brain on how you're doing that kind of stuff and see if I can help you in any way or vice versa. So you got to come from that mastermind mentality. Okay. If you just say, hey, have you heard of EXP? They'll be like, click, right? So go mastermind with these people. And if they're in the hockey stick, if they're on their way up, well, then like in my price point here in San Antonio at 336 per transaction, if you're doing 27 transactions in my city and not with us, you're either brainwashed or dumb. But I can change both of those if I go sit with you. So it's the stroke ego, get a mastermind session with them, whether it be Zoom or call. From there, say like, hey, you know what? I have a mentor that talks to me about the 7 things that agents need, and then just go into the 7 things. But that's an easy one for me to get in front of them, at least the first at bat. After that, you got to build rapport. Get the family recreation dreams. Don't make it all business. Talk about who they are, where they're from, how they got. Here's some easy questions. What got you to real estate? All right, what are you excited about in the industry? What are you scared about in the industry? And I always have a little joke and say, hey, have you been to any real estate agent retirement parties? Because I haven't. I guess they're not inviting me. And that's always like a funny little joke, right? And they laugh, ha ha ha. I'm like, oh, no, but seriously, I've never been invited. Have you been to one? And they're like, no. And I go, I know. Yeah. And that's a good opportunity to, you lighten the mood and start talking about the 7 things, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
none of us go to retirement parties because we don't freaking retire unless it's rev share.
Yeah. Well, Kelly asked a question. How often are you connecting with your top 20%?
Once a month, those 5 questions, no matter what.
Once a month. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Because we have to take care of them. And that the 20%, it changes, right? Because if people drop off, I used to be part of this coaching collaboration called Core Coaching. And the only way that you could coach is if you're in the top 10% of production. So from one month to the next, you might get a new coach because they got to focus on their business. It was pretty hardcore, right? But it's kind of like that. And people say, hey, you don't call me anymore. I say, well, come to the training because you got to, you have to have trainings and stuff for them to go to. You can't just neglect them and say like, vaya con Dios, like you're in my 80%, but you have to have stuff for them. But for one-on-one attention from me, yeah, it's the top 20. And if you want to be an icon, be an icon. If you want to attract icon, be an icon. I'm 4+ years icon. It's easy conversation with icons, right? So I tell people a lot, when you get on the plane, they don't say, hey, put your mask on the person next to you. They say, put your mask on first. So you might just be needing to put your mask on it because production respects production. This is how it is. We can't get around that. Yeah. So if you're starting an organization like that, be an icon. I have more icons than anyone else. I have 9 cappers and then additionally some of those. So I have 13 icons, 9 cappers in my organization. So
Awesome.
yeah, I have the most production based, in my area in Central Texas for sure. No one has more icons or more cappers than but that's because I focus my attention on capper. If you're brand new, bring me your poor, you're hungry, and whatever. But I'll take them. But I'm focused on cappers and icons for sure.
I got you. Well, first of all, congrats. I can tell you're rocking it, man. You've got a great mindset. If you did have to start over tomorrow,
Sure.
would you do anything different?
I would go after bigger teams, just to be honest with you. And I would leverage my time in events more than I did. Meaning inviting. So we have trainings that are like we have 3 trainings a week and we fill the seats. And we're on tour now. Like we're going to other places all over Texas, and that's really working. And there's a method to that madness too. Like I'm trying to be the Mexican. I always tell everyone I'm trying to be the Mexican Brent Gove, because like like having events and having them come is so much easier than like infiltrating other sectors, other geographic areas. Yes, you can go get the head turner or two, but inviting them to events and then having like a follow up with that is.
Do you allow other teams, groups to invite to that event as well?
We usually have a agent of influence that we're going to stack under in every single city that has the most influence. And now with co-sponsoring, you can pick the biggest, awesome, most awesome production person in every single given small city. And we're going tertiary like markets, meaning the smaller neglected area, like in Colorado, yeah, you have Denver or whatever, and you have Colorado Springs, and I'm trying to think of where else, Fort Collins, but there's some other little places that they get, like in Texas, we're so big, they just get orphaned. There's no one that comes to town, no one that does trainings. When we do those trainings, we pack the house, and because they've never seen people come in and train, and we train on mindset, we train on branding, marketing, we train on. We don't have one slide that says EXP, not one. We're there to give value to the agent, follow up with them, and see where it hurts. We're going back to where does it hurt?
So if I wanted to potentially co-sponsor with you, JJ,
Yeah.
there a website or something that talks about where you're putting on these events?
Yes, we have Winning Minds. I'll send it to you. We're just getting 2026 calendar going. I think the next spot we're going to is Dallas, in about 3 weeks. But yeah, I can send that to you as well, so you can share it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going all over Texas for sure.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm kind of focused in Dallas and Houston, so I could
Yeah, for sure.
talk to you about co-sponsoring and inviting to those events. Well,
Yeah. We'd love.
I have a question.
Yes, Sandra. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, JJ.
Yeah.
I got a lot of one-on-one coaching time with Gene Frederick.
Oh yeah.
I kind of chased him down. He did show up to our event, that dinner, and I realized, okay, what he's saying, I can gravitate to. And before this event, I mean, I just point blank maybe said this out loud to a couple of people in my sponsorship line that I really miss culture. And as I talked in Miami about I really miss culture,
Yeah.
it did not resonate with one person, except for Gene Frederick and you.
Sure.
But that's just what's lacking for me.
Right.
And ironically, I'm hearing that with the people I'm sitting down with. I'm believing, based on what I'm hearing you, that I'm looking it up online if I wanted success coaching and I wanted coaching from you, because we're here, we always gravitate towards what we know we need.
Sure.
And it sounds like you've been able to hone in on that for a fair number of people. And I heard that from the platform that we can sign up for coaching. When I'm on coaching.success, how do I do that? Because when I was in coaching previously, I did really well. It helped me stay focused. And I believe that I heard that from the stage, people who are coachable stay in coaching.
They do. Yeah.
So how do I get into coaching with you?
We can talk about that. I think what they were talking about on stage is people that want to be coaches. Like there's a waiting list of people that want to be coaches, and there's a certification on that. But
I'm a mentor, and ironically, that culture is what I help them stay plugged into the mentoring and stay plugged. I help them stay plugged into their sponsor, but a fair number of people in mentorship, their sponsor sponsored them and then left them. And maybe it's because I see it in a systemic way, because these are people who need production help, that I have it within myself because it was given to me, but I also realize I got to fill that void for myself.
Where are you located, Sandra?
Sarasota, Florida.
Okay. What I'm going to tell you, and we'll connect whenever, but what I'm going to tell you, if, you know, and I told this to one of my agents that's like in the middle of nowhere, Texas, where there's a lot of middle of nowhere, not that you're in the middle of nowhere, but she's in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And I was like, she's like, yeah, we don't have any. I was like, if you don't see it, create it.
Well,
Right.
and I am in the process of doing that. I've already
Yeah.
done 5 live events. I've
There you
scheduled
go.
another 5 live events where it's at my MLS because they stopped
Right.
supporting our.
Right.
That's fine, but I know the gap within me
Sure.
is I'm going to need I'm going to need some juice.
Yeah.
Spending that much time with Gene Frederick
Oh, yeah.
gave
He's in
me
my upline. I love him. Yeah.
well, I think technically mine too, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he's going to get on the phone with anybody I'm recruiting. And
Right.
I gotta be that person and I gotta work on getting myself to stay that person.
Totally. But yeah, no, we can connect. I think a lot of times, with coaching, it's 20% accountability, 80% mindset, right? And so it's just making sure that the mindset stays consistent throughout the year because it's tough. It's not, you know, it's tough to wake up every single day and want to get it. But, with my coaching that I do for myself, that, I'm always being held accountable and it just trickles down that way. And if you want to keep someone in an organization and have them grow, coaching is definitely the best way to do it for sure. And then as you get coach, you coach your downline, right? And it's just a trickle down type of thing. And then it always works out that way. It's the best way to handle an organization for sure.
So JJ, if you don't mind, my man, put your link in there in the chat.
Yeah,
Sure.
how do we? So, okay, is it a link where we can sign up for coaching with you? Is it?
I would say just we'll have like a Zoom. So let's talk about it a little bit. I just sent my cell phone number. Just text me right there, 210-367-6024. And then we can talk about coaching and all that kind of stuff with anyone that's
Thank you.
interested in that for sure. Yeah.
And JJ, would you go back into the 80-person team that you attracted and kind of what worked and what tips you might have for attracting larger teams?
So it's first of all, you got to get out there and network. I always come from contribution, so I was going out and doing a training for their team in another city, and I didn't ask for a penny, right? I just wanted to get with this person because he was a huge influencer and a huge recruiter. So you got to you got to come from contribution and show your value. That's what I would suggest. You're not going to get these big teams and brokerages to just jump over willy-nilly. You're gonna have to show some value and some consistency. So I did a little training with them. Then I went on the road and did training for them. And and we drove together. It's 2.5 hour drive. On the way back, we just started talking about. I didn't bring up the 7 things, but I was just like, hey, you know, there's like so I had a radio show for 8 years before COVID, and I was trained by rest in peace Larry King Live, and Larry would ask questions to people before their interview, so they looked like old friends. And one of them is if there was a bio of your life that was going to be like a Hollywood, type of bio, who would you ask for them to play you? Like what actors or actresses would you ask for them to play you and why, right? There's a follow-up. You start to really learn a lot about people when you have these abstract, questions. And then the other question I asked them was, obviously, if you go back 20 years, what would you change? If you had one piece of advice for, your children, if something happens to you, what would it be? Um, you start to get to know people in a really, really, and be prepared to answer those questions as well, because it's not fair if it's one-sided. When you dig deep into those questions, that's kind of hard to have at a coffee. I've done it, but it's kind of hard to have in a coffee because they're like, "Look, you're weird and creepy." Um, but like in a longer situation, like driving to another city, like I sat shotgun with him, and my girlfriend and his wife were in the back seat, and they were connecting. And then I started asking these, said, hey, there's some questions that are cool, if you want to mess with them. And so we did that. And you just get to know someone really, really well. When they have the influence of everyone under them, you know that you have to put in that work and make sure that they connect with you, because it's a long journey. having an organization with someone, co-sponsoring with someone, like that's a journey that you're going to go on for a very long time, hopefully until you retire, if that's such a thing. And so they want to know you have their back and vice versa. And you want to make sure that I think a lot of times we try to put, square pegs into round holes and say, well, this guy is just so good and she has such a great business. I was like, yeah, but do you guys vibe? Or you guys have the same, you know, reasons to be in business together? Are you going to want to see this person every single week? Are you going to want to talk to this person every single day? Like, there's good fits and we're not for everyone and vice versa. So just make sure that you good look past the production and into the person and make sure that you connect with them because that's all that really matters.
Hmm. Good stuff. Um, well, we're right at about the top of the hour. If somebody has another pressing question in their head they want to throw at JJ,
All right,
anybody?
I'm ready.
And I'll ask you one more just to wrap up here. Uh,
Yeah,
how do you lead, I guess, when motivation dips or people ghost you?
I want you to write this down. They're doing the best they can with what they got. Okay. So when you give them grace, they're doing the best they can with what they got.
Hmm.
Your perception of what happens changes. Sometimes they're just busy. Sometimes change is, they might have a personality profile where change is the biggest nightmare of all time. They know that they're supposed to go somewhere else. They know that the place that they are is toxic. They know. They're doing the best that they can with what they got. And so I give them immediate grace and I'll text them like, hey, looks like you're busy. No biggie. I'll give you a call in a couple of weeks. And then I do that. And then they'll tell me, man, you were the only one that gave me grace. They don't say it like that. They just say like, oh, they call me persistent or they call me whatever. But I give everyone, especially in this attraction situation, they're doing the best with what they got right now. Should they be with us? Absolutely. That's not even a question anymore. We're the number one. Like I feel bad that they're not.
Yeah.
But is it time for them? Maybe not. Maybe, you don't know what they have going on at home. You don't know what they have going on in general, right? And so, and think about it, like, I tell this to my agents about listings because they're like, oh, these people are just taking forever to list their house. You know how much it sucks to move? It sucks. You gotta
Hmm.
like purge all your hoarding stuff. You gotta like put all your underwear away that you're not gonna use because it's fall now and no bikinis. You gotta do all that stuff. You gotta make it pretty every single time you like, and they make it, oh, they just won't list. I'm like, it sucks. And you know what sucks even more? Changing brokerages sucks even more. So give them grace. Just know and just say, hey, in your mind, instead of saying like, wow, what a whatever douche just left me at a coffee shop. Just say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna bust on my computer and just work. I'm gonna text them, hey, it looks like you got busy. It's all good. I'll give you a call in a couple of weeks. Let me know if you need anything. Come from contribution and give them grace because people need that. And eventually, just like anything else, eventually they're gonna remember those things. And then when it's time to move, they will call you, I promise.
That's awesome, man. Well, JJ, thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
I can tell it's so interesting when you talk to somebody who's coaching. And I like what you said. You have to hold yourself accountable before you can ask others to hold. An interesting way to look at it because that is so true.
It
Makes it
is for sure.
hard to hold others accountable if you're not doing what you say you're going to do.
Totally.
And thank you very, very much. You guys
Yeah,
feel free
man.
to reach out to JJ. You've got his phone number. If you just want to have a high level conversation, see if it's coaching might be something you want to do. But JJ, man, we sincerely appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Congrats on all your success.
Thank you, brother.
Would you like a copy of the recording? Want to have
I
it?
would. I would love that. Thank you so much.
Perfect, man. Well, dude, thanks again. Hope you guys, everybody, have an incredible week. Hope to see everybody on the mastermind tomorrow morning. JJ, you're the bomb, bro. Thank you so
See you,
much,
brother. You're welcome.
guys. Have a good one.
Bye bye.